Manchester has a proud history of music, from the moody, melancholic Smiths to the belligerent Britpop of Oasis. And live music is perhaps most important to the offbeat and alternative atmosphere of the Northern Quarter, which is famous for its live music venues. And one historian believes that the nightlife is critical to the popularity of the Northern Quarter as a place to live.
Venues, live music, very important for this area, and I think in a lot of ways that's what attracted even more people to want to come and live here.
But as the Northern Quarter residential population has begun to increase, the residents have begun to turn on the nightlife that drew them there, and this is leading to friction between local businesses and residents. Most infamously, Night and Day Cafe nearly lost their live music licence last year after a neighbour released this video. The video is allegedly of Night and Day at 9:30 on a Thursday night. And it's not just noise from bars that residents have issues with. Haroon Mushtaq manages a comic book shop in the Northern Quarter.
A few weeks ago we had a gig in the shop. There was a band touring from Japan, and we just thought it'd be fun to put them on in the shop. We're not a venue, so it's not something we do regularly or anything like that, and unfortunately in this particular instance a resident made a complaint. We were actually within hours, but wasn't fully aware that you needed a license and stuff because we're not a venue. So unfortunately we've had a cease and desist, so we are unable to put anything else like that on in the future. It is a bit crazy that someone moved to the area not being fully aware of what kind of area they're moving to.
But isn't it this alternative atmosphere and music that drew people here?
What drew me to the Northern Quarter was mostly the nightlife. I grew up in a very sleepy commuter town outside of London, and it was just terrible. So I really wanted to go somewhere that was a bit more livelier. So far I haven't had any problems with noise, other than sirens, but I think that's just a city thing. But no abject problems with noise. That's known for being loud and having a lot of gig venues and a lot of young people who are into that kind of thing. I think you should move there with the expectation there's going to be a bit more noise.
And Max isn't the only one who believes this.
The reason people move into the Northern Quarter is that nightlife and that vitality. So there is a balance to be struck. You have to, if you're living across the road on Oldham Street and there are 5 bars opposite and they've been there for 20 years, you do have to have an element of understanding. It's going to be a little bit noisy, it's not going to be a sleepy suburb. But at the same time, the bars also have an understanding that those residential areas have been there for a few years too. There are people who want to sleep at night, so 4 AM licences and music blaring out of your doors and not making sure your doors are shut properly and being a little bit inconsiderate on that end is also not okay. So there's a fine line, but everybody just has to have a little bit of empathy, I think.
It seems that to balance the legacy of live music with the gentrification of the Northern Quarter, some compromise is needed. With the Northern Quarter population having risen by 10% in less than 10 years, it seems this argument's only going to get louder. Tom Percival, Granada Reports.